Now, if it's a sine function, you would start at the midline. So you would start at the midline and you would start at the first important t-coordinate. But it's not a sine function, it's a cosine function. And if it was a cosine function without a vertical reflection, we would start at the top. But since this cosine function has a vertical reflection, we'll start at the bottom. So the graph is going to start at the bottom, this bottom line here. Then it will go to the midline, then to the top, then to the midline, then to the bottom, and will connect with a smooth curve. If you wanted to graph cosine of t plus pi over 2, then we would start at the top, go to the midline, then down to the bottom, then to the midline, then back to the top, and we would have a graph that looks like this. You see we have to do hardly any work once we've graphed negative cosine of t plus pi over 2 to graph cosine of t plus pi over 2. If you wanted to graph sine of t plus pi over 2, you do not have to do any work. Steps 1 and 2 are already completed, and you simply need to sketch the behavior of the parent function, sine, for these particular t-coordinates and midlines and upper and lower lines. For sine, it starts at the midline, then it goes up to the top, then back to the midline, down to the bottom, then back to the midline. And finally, if you wanted to sketch minus sine of t, I think I might be better served simply erasing these before I sketch that graph. But let's go ahead and keep the sine of t plus pi over 2. So there's the sine plus t plus pi over 2. And if I want to sketch minus sine of t plus pi over 2, then I'll start at the midline, I'll go to the bottom, I'll go back to the midline, I'll go to the top, and then back to the midline. So to recap, we found this midline and this top and bottom line. Then we found those important t-coordinates. And then we sketched the graphs, or, well, we were supposed to sketch the graph, but we sketched a few other graphs as well. And when we sketched the graph, we made sure we remembered the behavior of the parent function, cosine, and we took into account if there was a reflection.